Enter at your own risk. RJ nibbled his lip until he drew blood. The crunching and crackling underneath his feet was unnerving. Every jolt and thud felt like it could push the car off the narrow path. His knuckles were white. He dug his fingernails deeper into the armrest, but nothing he did could quell the fear that was welling up within him. The road was tortuous, a winding mess of rocks and mud. He gulped. A sprinkling of rocks trickled down the cliff's edge. He was inches away from the sheer drop. He had been holding his breath for a while now. A wall of green was closing in on him from the other side. It felt like everything was hemming him in. Welcome to our idyllic and tranquil small town. Otto was staring at him through the rearview mirror. His grey hair was so short, it made him look like he was wearing a helmet. His blue eyes were an unnatural color. He had driven the road so many times that it was ingrained into his muscle memory. Even with his eyes and focus on RJ, they did not crash. A chill crept down RJ's spine. There was nowhere to hide from his gaze. It all felt so claustrophobic. He looked away and found himself staring into a maze of twisted branches. The momentum shifted suddenly. He found himself flying sideways. His nose was pressed against the window. Puffs of panic breaths were fogging up the glass. The constant weaving back and forth was starting to grate on his last nerve. It was not a pleasant motion, but his lack of control over it made it 100 times worse. Nestled in nature, how are you finding it so far? Sounds like a nightmare. He held back a mouthful of vomit. There was an overwhelming feeling that he had been here before, as if the terrible journey was etched into his brain. Why are you here then? Otto continued to drive like he was on a racetrack and not perilously close to killing them, not by choice. What do you do? Knitting. And what do you do? You're a detective. I'm not a taxi driver. That makes two of us. A wry smile spread across Otto's face. Why do you not like nature? It frees the mind. I was born and raised in a box. Oh, you won't notice a difference then. Excuse me? When you die, you won't notice a difference. What a horrible way to live your life. You'd rather be trapped in one artificial box after another. Why? Is it a question of control? Fear? Shall I help you get back into your box? Otto glanced down at the armrest. In fact, you might be more comfortable than you are now. Do you need a break? There's a rest stop coming up. Yes, thanks. I feel a bit sick. RJ said through gritted teeth. Waves of pain and heat were washing over his body, like the tumultuous waves crashing onto the rocks below. Just when he thought he was okay, he crumpled back into the window. Mercifully, it slowly descended as his lips moved closer to the blast of cold air. After hours in the car, Otto had finally let some air into it. You look sick. So not only do you not like nature, but you're allergic to it. Is that so strange? He bit down on his tongue as he tried to suppress another wave of pain, just like restricting the airflow. Removing my power to control anything in this car, my car, Otto corrected, descended on my quiet town. And what for? So your masters can sleep soundly, knowing that they control everyone and everything. Well, not here. You control nothing here, not even the window. Quiet town? There have been 22 deaths in the past 3 weeks. Very accident prone, or something else is going on. I've been sheriff here for 42 years, and in that time, many people have died. It's one of the only things people do well. The other is disappoint you. It's normal. Normal? To lose half of your population? RJ squeaked as the car hit a patch of gravel. It threw him into the air. His feet could feel the stones smashing into the car. The sudden and disturbing sensations and sounds made his heart jump into his mouth. City folks moved in with that fancy new designer, Natalia Dragunov. They don't seem to realize that it's isolated out here. If you get into trouble, you have to get back out of it. But they all died in their homes. I grew up with the same people that are still here to this day. Never lost one of them. Suddenly, the car veered to the left. Otto's face was inches from RJ's. The problem is not my town. It's in my town.